Hi everyone, it's Mark. I'm the youth pastor here at Court Street Christian Church, and I'm so excited for you guys to be joining us today on Father's Day. And happy Father's Day for all of you fathers. This is Hosanna. She is 9 months old, and she's the little one that made me a father, and I'm so blessed to have her. So whether you're watching on CCTV, on Facebook, on YouTube, wherever you're at, we're excited that you're here and there's an awesome message planned for you. So stay tuned. It's a little different, but it'll be good.
Worthy of every song we could ever sing, worthy of all the praise we could ever bring, worthy of every breath we could ever breathe. We live for you. Jesus, the name above every other name. Jesus, the only one who could ever save. Worthy of every breath we could ever breathe. We live for you. We live for you. Holy, there is no one like you. There is none beside you. Open up my eyes in wonder and show me who you are, and fill me with your heart and lead me in your love to those around me. Worthy of every song we could ever sing, worthy of all the praise we could ever bring, worthy of every breath we could ever breathe. We live for you. Jesus, the name above every other name. Jesus, the only one who could ever save. Worthy of every breath we could ever breathe. We live for you. We live for you. Holy, there is no one like you. There is none beside you. Open up my eyes in wonder and show me who you are, and fill me with your heart and lead me in your love to those around me. I will build my life upon your love. It is a firm foundation, and I will put my trust in you alone, and I will not be shaken. I will build my life upon your love. It is a firm foundation, and I will put good news for the captive, good news for the shame. There's good news for the one who walked away. There is good news for the doubter, the one religion failed. For the good Lord has come to seek and to save. He's our rescuer, He's our rescuer. We are free from sin forevermore. Oh, how sweet the sound, oh, how grace abounds. We will praise the Lord, our rescuer. He is beauty for the blind man, riches for the poor. He is friendship for the one the world ignores. He is pasture for the weary, rest to those who strive. For the good Lord is the way, the truth, and the life. The good Lord is the way, the truth, and the life. He's our rescuer, He's our rescuer. We are free from sin forevermore. Oh, how sweet the sound, oh, how grace abounds. We will praise the Lord, our rescuer. So come and be chainless, come and be fearless. Come to the foot of Calvary. There is redemption for every affliction here at the foot of Calvary. So come and be chainless, come and be fearless. Come to the foot of Calvary. There is redemption for every affliction here at the foot of Calvary. He's our rescuer, He's our rescuer. We are free from sin forevermore. Oh, how sweet the sound, oh, how grace abounds. We will praise the Lord, our rescuer. We will praise the Lord, our rescuer.
Hello, everyone. Becca Riddle here. Hey, one thing that I've learned about God is that He really teaches us through story. We see all throughout Scripture that He uses this tool over and over and over again to really connect a point He wants to make with our own hearts. And today, what I want to do is I want to slow down and I want to listen to 4 dads from our own church family that are going to come and share their experience of fatherhood and their experience in raising children and what that has taught them about the character of God. And I'm telling you, you're not going to want to miss this. We're going to hear from a dad who's going to be a grandpa for the first time. And I'm telling you, the joy and the delight in his voice and his face, it's adorable. You're also going to hear from a dad who is a single dad. And when I say single, I mean single. His wife passed away when his daughter was very young, and he's been doing this gig all by himself. He's my new hero. We're also going to hear from a new dad, a dad that has a newborn in his home and a precocious 3-year-old. And I'm telling you, he takes me right back to those first few moments of being a parent, and it is so tender and so precious. And lastly, we're going to be hearing from a dad who has had a difficulty in his relationship with his children. And through Jesus' help, he's made a beautiful, redemptive story. So stay tuned and listen to these beautiful conversations. We're going to start this one out with my friend Bob. Bob, we have known each other a really long time. And when I was putting together just this group of dads, your name popped right into my head for several reasons. One, you're a fabulous dad. And you're one of the pillars of our church. And when I was just thinking of who was just a good representation of someone that I think is a good father, your name popped into my head, lickety split. Thank you for that.
Thank you. That's a lot of pressure.
No
If
pressure.
I'd have known, I might have done things differently.
Put
Who
on a
knows?
tie for me or
Yeah,
something?
I might have dressed up. I don't know. It's
No, it's perfect. So, no, thank you for having this conversation. But why don't you tell everybody how long you guys have been going to Court Street and just a little bit about your family?
Well, Lisa and I have been going to Court Street for 36 years now. Court Street was the first and only church we came to as a couple. When we started talking about getting married, we knew that Christ needed to be at the center of our life. And this was the first church we came to. And after the first week, it was like, okay, we're done. We don't need to find any place else.
Awesome.
I guess now that makes me an old timer, but
Pillar.
a pillar.
Yes.
Okay. Court Street is home, and it's this time of being away from each other has been tough.
Yeah.
It's understandable. I understand why we're doing it, but this is home, and
Yeah.
I can't wait to get back and see my family back in our home.
Yes, I get it. So tell me a little bit about your boys. They're I'm going to always call them boys.
The boys. Well, yes, the 26-year-old. We have twin sons, Sam and Mac. They're 26 years old now. They are the light of my life. They are the spark that is just always there. It's always been a ride, and it was a great ride. It is a great ride.
Yeah.
It's a different ride now. It's not driving to Mexico to go to Rancho de los Niños and a 1,200-mile ride in our car. And are we there yet? It's not that ride anymore, but it's now watching them as adults building their lives. And just every day we just thank God that we had God with us and that we didn't make a lot of mistakes raising our children.
Excellent. So tell me this. When you first heard the news that you, Bob Martin, were going to put on a new hat in life and be called Dad, give me some emotions that stirred up in you.
Terrified,
Okay.
anxious,
Yeah.
proud, a new level of love hit my heart.
Yeah.
I always loved Lisa, and now I had to find space for another person.
And then you had a double wave of emotion,
Yes.
literally,
Yes.
because you found out not too far into the pregnancy, is my guess, that it wasn't going to be one baby, but two babies. So tell me about that moment for you.
Lisa had been quite sick early in her pregnancy, and the doctor said, we need to check this out. You shouldn't be this, morning sickness is normal, but not like this. And so he suggested we get an ultrasound, and so we went to the Salem Hospital. His guess was that we were probably pregnant with twins. He thought this is probably multiples, and our head starts swimming, and the tech says, okay, there's one. Okay, there's two. And I said, okay, are there any more? I want to know the maximum, And she goes, no, there's just two. But yeah, then there was two.
Yeah.
And you start to think about, okay, do we make enough money to support? And you never have enough money to have children.
Right,
There's never a right time. You're never rich enough. And so it was just that, okay. And it was, we were lucky. We knew in advance, and we started to plan for it. And how do we do all of this? And it really became a team effort.
Yeah.
And people would ask us, well, what was it like? We didn't know any different.
Right.
This was how it was. I mean, it was 2 a.m. feedings for two, and it was, buy double the diapers, and then double the tennis shoes, and double the bikes, and it's just you just had to make those plans, and God has a sense of humor.
Yeah, he does. So tell me this. I'm on the downhill slope of parenting. And
You think.
well, that's true, right? We don't know what's going to happen, but it feels like it, and it feels like it's going really fast. But now you've been out of it, of having them under your roof now for a little bit. But when you reminisce and you think about the years or the season that just like, man, you'd go back there in a heartbeat, what comes to mind?
I don't know that they'd want to go back there. I would love to relive their high school years again because they were going to school where I was teaching.
Yeah.
We rode to work and school every day. We went home from school every day, which was a little tense during football season because I was the head football coach and
Oh, yeah.
my son was the quarterback, and he and I would argue in practice sometimes, and we'd fight on the way home. And but I so loved watching them become young men, and but I would go back, but then I wouldn't give up their young adult life, their the career choices they've made and the family choices they've made. I just
You're enjoying it all.
There's not a point where I'd say, oh, I wouldn't want to do that again.
Right. Yeah.
But it's a blast.
Yeah. So you found out just recently,
Yes.
not too long ago, that you're moving into a whole new role in life, and that you're going to be a grandpa.
Yeah.
And oh my gosh, Bob, I'm so excited for you. I think I was born to be a grandma. I think that was that's like if you have one purpose, I think that's mine. I already like to do puzzles and watch Golden Girls, so I think that's like my niche. So I'm already looking forward to it someday, but I have to just ask you and pick your brain a little bit, like how are you, just tell me a little bit about how excited you are about this new role.
Getting more excited as we get closer and closer to the due date. The baby is due sometime around the 4th of July, and we've known since Christmas time. I think my excitement is remembering how both my father and my father-in-law so loved being with their grandsons.
Yeah.
And the sheer joy that would come over their faces whenever Mac and Sam would come over to their house and spend some time with them, and just the different things they would do with them. And I can't wait to, and I may cry when I start doing this, take them to their first baseball game or to their first, whatever it is, movie, car races, whatever they were, swimming, whatever it is, go on vacation with all of us.
Yeah.
I can't wait to spoil my children like my parents spoiled my children, so my grandchild has to go home and ask their parents why they don't get unlimited money when they go to Fred Meyer. But I just, it's, I'm so happy for Sam and Rachel.
Yeah.
And what their life is changing into now. And I've watched, of course, Sam grow up for 26 years, and I've watched Sam and Rachel and their relationship, and they're doing this the right way. This is going to be a great thing for them.
Oh, yeah.
And I just can't wait to hold that little guy in my arms and look at his, perfect little face and just watch him now grow up and get to participate in all that and be there to support my son and his wife and support my grandson.
Yeah. Hi, everybody. I wanted to introduce you to my friend Anton, and I hope you just enjoyed this conversation about fatherhood. So, Anton, tell me a little bit about how long you've been at Court Street and just why you chose us to be your church family.
I think I've been at Court Street probably since about 2 years, maybe 2018. I think it was right before Corey kind of became the pastor. And I don't know, I was going to another fellowship and just looking for something a little different. And, I always kind of visited Court Street, here and there. And I don't know, just something about this place that really I just felt like this is the season and the place I needed to be. And so just kept coming, and then started, getting involved in the men's group and things like that. And it just, I don't know, it just felt more like home. And so,
Great.
yeah.
Awesome. So we're talking about fathers and Father's Day. So happy Father's Day to you.
Thank you.
And I'm curious to know, so when you got the news that you were going to be putting on a new hat in life, a new role in life, that you, Anton, are no longer, that you're no longer fatherless, but you are a father. Tell me just what rushed through you? What were the emotions like?
excited
Okay.
because, yeah, I just was excited, you
Yeah.
know, but I was scared too.
Sure.
Like, I was just like, oh my gosh, like this is actually happening now.
Yeah.
I was nervous though. I'm not gonna lie.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, what am I getting myself into? You know, I'm an educator, so like I always, you know, teach other people's kids, and then I say, go home. You know, now I'm like, you're right. Like you're not going home. You're staying. So
Yeah.
it was different, and it was an adjustment, you know. But
Yeah.
I don't know. It's being a dad is one of like the biggest blessings in my life. So yeah, I
That's
don't know.
great. Tell me just a little bit about your story. You find out you're going to be a dad, and tell me what happens after that.
So I was gonna be a dad, and we were actually living in Alabama, and I'm originally from New York City, and she's originally from here. You know,
Okay.
her mom was originally from here, and so we decided like we need to be close to family.
Yeah.
And so we decided to just come back here. You know,
Okay.
I love New York City and things like that, but I grew up in like a big 19-story building in New York City, and I was like, I want to have more like space and like things like that. So we came out here. We came back out here, and so yeah, we just were kind of parenting and doing our thing, you know. And then about probably July 2015, my wife passed away suddenly,
Wow.
and this overnight, I was, you know, a single dad.
Wow.
And yeah, it was a huge shock, but it was also a huge adjustment at the same time.
Yeah.
And yeah, she was a stay-at-home mom, and you know things. So I had to adjust to this new normal.
Wow.
And yeah, this July will be 5 years, going on 5 years. And Olivia had just turned 4.
Wow.
So she was young
And grieving.
and grieving, and it's been a process through that, you know, like just adapting to just the change, but also just like my grief and then her grief. And so like I had, you know, I've been through counseling and some grief support groups and things like that, just trying to heal myself so I can be the best of myself, so then I can help support her.
Yeah.
And she has her challenges too. She's had her challenges, you know. I mean, she was 4. Now she's going to be 9 in a few weeks. So, I mean, you can imagine the progression through that.
Oh, yeah.
And so, yeah, it's been a difficult few years.
I can imagine.
But through that, like Olivia and I kind of had to form a really strong bond, if
Yeah,
that
you
makes
did.
sense.
Oh,
you know?
Yeah.
And I don't know, it's just been a journey, you know, journey with each other, a journey with God, a journey of different seasons, and kind of like new beginnings too, I guess, you know.
right.
But it was, yeah, it's been it's been an interesting few years.
Yeah, no
you
kidding.
know?
So you're a single dad in the purest of forms. I mean,
Yeah.
there isn't every other weekend even for you or those types of
No.
things. You're on, and you also, it feels like, wear sometimes the father hat and the mother hat. Do you feel that sometimes?
I do. I mean, I feel like I can never replace her mother.
Sure.
And so I'm going to be her dad. You know, but there are some things that the mom might have done,
Yeah.
you know, not, you know, that the dad might not have to worry about, like her hair.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
like, and if you ever seen her hair, I mean, her hair is long.
Yes.
So I had to learn.
And beautiful.
It's beautiful, yeah, but that beauty comes at a cost, you know, because, you know, I have to do her hair, you know, and so, like, you know, learning the best way to do it. So I don't have to close the window because people are going to think that, like, I'm hurting my child because she's screaming because I'm getting all these snarls out. You know what I mean? Like,
Yep.
things like that. But I don't know, you know, I just call it, like, you know, Sister McCoy hairdresser, you know, and I'm learning how to do pigtails and braids and a bun, you know, and all these things. So, you know, but I have to be her dad.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And we talk a lot about her mom. We always remember her mom.
Yeah.
We always look at pictures. She has a jury, you know, and anytime, like, we've always had an open relationship
Yeah.
about everything,
Yeah.
and she can talk about anything. So, and I've also told it to people who work with her, you know, in school and stuff like that. So, anytime she wants to talk or things like that, we do that. And you know, for me, I've had to learn is just to create that open, safe space for her
Yeah.
to process it herself. Because as a dad, I mean, maybe it's the guy in me, I want to, you know, I want to solve things. I don't want to see her in pain. I don't want to see her when she has times when she's not doing well, you know. But I realize that that's God's work with her, and that's going to change over the years, you know. And so I remember my counselor once telling me, I was asking about that, and he's like, if she's talking to you, if she's doing a great job of doing that, and she feels comfortable to do that, like, just hold that space for her. And so that's what I've been trying to do, and just literally I pray for God for wisdom and discernment just of how to parent and to help her where she's at. But you know, each week, every day is different, you know, and she's going through different phases now. You know, she's a lot older now.
Oh
so.
yeah, she's becoming a little woman right now.
She is,
Oh,
yeah, trust me.
Hey everybody, I wanted to welcome you to my friend Carlos here, and I'm just so excited to talk to you about fatherhood and what that's meant to you. When I was choosing this list of dads that I wanted to talk to, you came right to my mind because I love watching you with. I've only seen you with your daughter Fernanda because your little one's so little, but we'll talk about him in a second. Where I wanted to is how long have you been coming to Court Street? Tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, my wife Gabby, my 3-year-old Fernanda, and I have been coming to Court Street. Well, Fernanda has been 3 years.
Okay.
She's 3 years old. And my wife and I found Court Street 4 years ago.
Okay.
And we've been coming ever since.
Awesome. Well, we're so glad to have you. So tell me this. We're talking about Father's Day and what it means to be a dad. So I'm just curious, when you first found out that you were going to be having the honor of the role of father, like, tell me what was going through your head and your heart during that first moment.
Yeah, I think you just asking the question kind of brings those sensations back to me. I think I just felt my body just filled with joy.
Yeah.
And Gabby wanted to wait for the 3-month mark to share the news. And so I was very anxious for 3 months, but I held it together. And I just could not wait to share with my family, with my friends, just the joy that I felt.
Yeah. So tell me this. Who was the first person you had to tell? Like, that you were like chomping at the bit during those 3 months?
The first person that we told, I would have to think about that, but I think the person that I was most excited to share with my parents.
Yeah.
My parents had 6 of us,
Okay.
and we knew that it was a girl, and they had only had nephews and or grandkids, boys. And so Fernanda was the first grandchild, a girl.
Oh my gosh, such joy. Such joy. So tell me this. You're an educator. You've been in education. How long have you been in education?
Since 2008.
Okay.
So
okay.
over about 12 years.
A long time. So you have spent a long time watching kids and parents interact, and you also spent your educational years studying child development, and so you had a pretty good grasp on this. But through all of that, just observing, tell me a little bit about just what kind of a dad you knew you wanted to be after collecting all that data.
Yeah, I think that similar to parenting, education is rooted in connection, trust, and communication, positive communication. So I think after learning more about education and being immersed in the world of education, I knew that I did not want to put academic pressures on my daughters or my kids. And so I think that's something that unfortunately happens a lot. It happens a lot, or with some parents it happens. And I just wanted to make sure that we nurture the things that our kids were into, that we taught them about God, and that we let them explore the world, explore nature, explore diversity.
So that brings me to, so today you have 2 little ones at home, and they're little. So I want you to pull all of us that are watching back to that to the where you are right now. What does life look like with, how old is Fernanda now? Is she
Fernanda is 3.
3?
They're both May babies.
Okay.
So one's 3 and the other one is a month old.
a month old? So tell me, what does your life look like and feel like?
Yeah, life is busier than ever. It is more beautiful than ever too. Having 2 is just so beautiful.
Yeah.
Twice the goodness, twice the work, but it's work that Gabby and I are committed to and that we always look forward to as well. It's challenging at the same time. It's not always easy, but it's always beautiful. And I think that one of the things that makes this a little more complicated is just the time that we're living right now
Yeah.
with the COVID world. And I get to work from home, so that's also been a silver lining of this. And so I get to be a dad at home at the same time that I'm working. It's difficult sometimes to be fully present, but I really try to find moments where I can be fully present and have undivided attention for my kids and to them.
So when I think back on those years, I mean, you said it's exhausting. You're losing a lot of. I had no idea how little sleep the human body actually could still function. Not function well sometimes, but still function. So what are the ways that you have found that you're able to support Gabby and connect with your kids at this young age?
Yeah, I think that I cook a lot more than I have in the past. And
Bravo.
again, it's the, she gets drawn a lot to her mom naturally, right? And so does the 1-month-old because breastfeeding is something that she can only do.
Yep.
And I think ways that I try to help is I take Fernanda for a hike. We did a hike on Sunday, and we just disconnected from everything around us and had just moments to just talk together, interactions that just live in my heart. And with Tomas, I think changing diapers and really enjoying changing diapers, that's going to be a stage that I will never get back. So it's just having him as a month old is just a reminder of the time that never comes back and the time that I have to make the most out of. Singing with them, dancing with them, just being fully present in the moments that I'm able to.
Yeah. Oh man, when you talk about your kids, like you have, like I can see the love just come out of your eyes, and I can just feel it. Just brag on them for a second. Like, tell me what you love about your little girl, and tell me about the things that you're noticing about your little boy.
Fernanda is super funny. She's adventurous. She loves going outside and being outside. And I'm actually finding out that Tomas, a month old, loves being outside too, because we take him on his car seat and we not the car seat, but it's the stroller, right? The stroller, and we go out and walks, and he is not crying. He's just observing. He loves being outside. They're super gentle, super funny. They're super humble and generous, super sympathetic as well. Fernanda is sympathetic towards the wolf in the Three Little Pigs story. So I think
I love that.
continuing to build empathy is something that Gabby and I are committed to, making sure that she continues to foster that.
Oh, that's really sweet. Hey everybody, I wanted to introduce you to someone that you've probably seen a lot playing drums for us on our worship band, but this is my friend Bill Cox, and thank you so much for being with us today. Bill, tell everyone how long you've been coming to Court Street.
My wife and I started coming here about 3 years ago.
Okay.
And we've been so blessed since we've been here. It was kind of exciting once we found a church home. It was new to us at the time because it was a new relationship for us, and we've been able to grow here. So.
I love it. And you're here because it's Father's Day and we're doing this message. So tell us a little bit about your kids.
So I have one biological son. His name is Will. He lives in Ithaca, New York, and I miss him. And then I have the opportunity and the great blessing to be involved with Kim's 3 children, Kevin, Carly, and Cambria.
Awesome. And so I was excited to have you come on because sometimes the sometimes the father-child relationship is just complicated. And it can almost feel like it's taken a nosedive, and that the way up forward, there's this bond that you want to lift the plane up and out of the nosedive, but how to do it and the twists and turns, and it's hard. So I've just connected with a little bit of your story, but I'm excited to sit down with you today and for you just to share a little bit more about what being a dad has been like for you.
So, in regards to my son, being a dad was the most amazing experience in his early life, and it's always been an amazing experience. But his mother and I were divorced when he was about 2, and through my past, I've been clean and sober for over 14 years now, but he's 27, and so you can do the math.
Yeah.
And so there were times in his life where I wasn't present, and there were times when we wouldn't see each other for a while. And over the years, the beautiful thing, and through the Lord and His beautiful mercies and work, I have been able to be clean and sober for this time period. But what's happened even more miraculously is the relationship with my son and I, and how it has grown, changed, evolved, and turned into what I couldn't ask for anything different. I wish he lived here instead of Ithaca, New York, but I was able to be present, at some time periods in his life, and truly present when he went through the loss of a step-parent, death of a step-parent, and going into college and getting through college, and then choosing to take a chance and move to New York and pursue what he is pursuing at this time. And how the Lord transformed me and then transformed our relationship into what it is now is nothing short of a miracle. And so I think that's the most beautiful piece of our relationship. We are allowed to be open and honest with each other. We've allowed each other to share what's on our heart about the past and to put it behind us. That being said, does it still come up for me? Yes. Yeah, it truly does. And then as time has gone on, the miracle of God bringing Kim into my life and the opportunity to spend time with her children as well, and for them to get to know each other, and not as much as we'd like time-wise. It's only been 3 years that Kim and I have been together, but that opportunity has really been touching for me.
Tell me this, when you were in a place where you wanted to rebuild and were given new tools and kind of a new lease on life, was it one magical conversation with your son that got it all back on track? Or what did that look like for you?
I think, he accepted Christ at a pretty young age. And his mother is a wonderful Christian woman who I have a great relationship now with. And so I think for him, it didn't need to be a really quick one conversation. Yes, we had some conversations, and he was more like, I'm just glad you're here. I'm just glad you're able to be here now.
Wow.
That, I think, was the most powerful piece. I think the struggle for me is now still, at times, carrying that guilt.
Okay.
The sins of the father.
Oh boy.
You carry that, but then quickly I turn to the Lord and allow Him to push that away. But without going through that, we wouldn't be where we are today.
Yes.
And so it's always that back and forth. And missing those things. I was there. I did get to show up. I did get to spend time with him. But as someone that was struggling at the times, you weren't fully present. And I think that's I missed being there fully present. And that's the hard part.
Yeah. So, Bill, you've married this beautiful woman, Kim, who has 3 adult children, right?
Yep.
And so, what's that role been like for you? How's that been? You moving into that space? Tell me a little bit about that.
Well, hopefully they're showing the picture right now on our wedding day of showing them all together. I think the beautiful thing about that was going into it knowing that I'm not sure stepdad was going to be the term, right? This is mom's new husband. And as time has gone on, getting to know them as humans, as people. I use the word human because they're using the term human because they all have dogs as children right now. Kim is expecting her first grandchild soon, so that's exciting. And so just as time has gone on, learning their hearts and spending time with them and supporting Kim as their mother has just been so fulfilling for me. To step back, right? What is my role? Learning, I'm not sure I even have a role except to support Kim and to take care of her. Seeing them make decisions, great decisions, moving forward with their lives. Been involved in a marriage with Carly, and just seeing this evolve has just been so beautiful. Challenging at times because there's times where I want to, and maybe times when I have said things and I was like, okay, I need to maybe step that back a little bit.
Yeah. A lot of wisdom and discernment have to come into play.
Yeah.
And almost that you're leading yourself with control, of just waiting and letting them kind of take lead.
Yeah.
Just feeling them out, letting them be exactly where they're at and being okay with that.
Yeah. That has been the challenge for me.
I feel like as we continue in our faith, just process and journey, and we learn the characteristics of God, that one of the first places we start to understand God is just how our parents are with us, how we interact with them. A lot of times it starts to shape how a lot of times it's our introduction to God, and then we have to sometimes deconstruct that, or sometimes it's such a great relationship that it just sets us up really nicely to have a close, open relationship with God. But I'm wondering, like, if you could just have Olivia see a characteristic that you know to be true about God in your relationship with her and your fathering to her, what would that characteristic be?
Yeah, that's a good question. I really think that God loves you unconditionally. Unconditional love. Like, for me as her dad, like, no matter what she does, and I want her to be her own person, that I'm going to love her unconditionally. Period.
Yeah.
Like, it's not if, then clause. It's period.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's how God loves us. He loves us unconditionally, whether we screw up, whether we do well or whatever, it's that piece that, like, if she can feel that, like, that I love her unconditionally, and she can come to me for anything, and sometimes she'll ask me, she'll be like, are you okay with me telling you this, Daddy? And I'm like, yeah, it's okay. She said, you're quiet. I'm just like, well, I'm listening. I'm taking it all in. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But if she can just have that for me, hopefully that would translate to her relationship with God.
Yeah.
Because, I don't know, I feel like that's so important to know that piece. It's such a, I think that's one of the special thing about our relationship is that, like, she'll tell me anything now, and I want that to continue as she become a teen and things like that. Hopefully it will. Maybe it won't, but even if she doesn't, I want her to know that it's not because I feel like I can't talk to you about that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I feel like it's really about, no, like, my daddy's going to love me whatever I tell him, and God's going to do that too. So I'd hope that translates for her.
For sure.
Yeah.
I think patience is something that I grew into. And some people would say, even now, I'm not a very patient man. And I think that's true, but I had to show, I guess I couldn't show frustration with my children when they did something wrong, quote unquote, that you had to correct them, but correct them with love and correct them and then give them direction. You can't discipline without correcting and helping them find the new. Try to be not harsh, and because I know that God is disappointed in things that I have done in my life, but He's not harsh with me, and He shows patience, and He corrects me, and then He redirects me, and that's what I've always tried to do, And I know I haven't been successful all the time because there's times when the human nature comes out, and you just get mad and you yell and. Then you have to realize that at some point you have to show your child that you have to go back and apologize. When as adults we've made mistakes because we like to think we're infallible. And you have to go back and apologize to them and show them that, hey, I made a mistake. No, Dad really messed up.
Wow,
and
that's
can
powerful.
and ask your child, can you forgive me?
Forgiveness and redemption, without a doubt. That no matter what, God's going to be there. His relationship with the Lord will always be there for him. And by me being consistent from this day forward, through showing him that and being aware of my words, Psalms 19:14, be mindful of what you're saying. Let your meditations be on. And those are areas that I still fail at, of course. But just that he knows that the Lord's always going to be there for him. And that's my prayer for him.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. So here's something that I want to know. Scripture talks a lot about kids teaching us. So what did your experience in being a dad just teach you about the heart of God?
Putting yourself second. The family comes way before you, and you and it's hard sometimes as an adult to put your desires and your wants behind those of your family. And again, probably haven't done it as good as I should have, but okay, the kids need clothes, or do I need a new golf club? Yeah. Well, I don't play that well anyway, so they need to have clothes. Yeah. And you just have to put those things, you have to prioritize things, and that, that God just tries to show that to us. And my kids showed me that, Dad, you're not, there's something else, someone else that needs your full attention.
Yeah, that's beautifully said.
I don't know if this directly answers the question, but I'll tell you what just popped in my head.
Yeah.
Usually that's really the most important thing. That God is okay with our curiosity and with our questions. Like sometimes we wonder, should we be thinking that or should we ask that question or stuff like that? But I mean, if you've seen Olivia, she's bubbly, she's jovial. I mean, she's happy. Yeah. She's like happy all the time. Yeah. If she's not like that, then I know something's wrong. Yeah. And she's curious. She'll ask a lot of questions, and I mean like just anything. Can a fish eat chicken? You know what I mean? Like, what? Where'd that come from? Like, but she'll ask me anything, and I love that she's so open to it because it makes me chuckle sometimes that she just. And she'll start like with Daddy, and I'm like, uh-oh, like, what comes? What question is coming now? You know what I mean? Yeah. But it's never something she's asked that I haven't been able to answer. Yeah. Or, give an appropriate answer to it, And so, but it just makes me think that, God is open to our questions, and just like how I am, like wanting more of those. Yeah. Because, and honestly, I feel like if she's asked a question, I want to get the answers from me first before she gets it out in the world. And I feel like God is the same. Like I want to be the one that can breathe those answers into you or point you in the right direction before you get it from somewhere else or before, you know what I mean? And so I just think just being curious and asking questions and it's okay.
Being selfless, I think being a parent has revealed that, you first get married and it's not about you anymore, it's about you and your partner. And then you have kids and it's not just about you and your partner, but it's like your heart is fully immersed into these little lives that you're responsible for now. And I think just being selfless is something that we're all called to be and to do, because it fills me as a dad to give my everything to my kids. But I think that that's a characteristic that can be done with any human being, not just your own kids, doing selfless acts for others.
Wow, so many things. I think, I was thinking a little about this, and I don't have the right answer. I know I don't. But what he has taught me is that he's always loved me. I've known that, and just as God has always loved me. Will has never held deep animosities that that he's shown me. He's shown me nothing but love, and he's shown me nothing but grace. And for him to do that just teaches me that, well, if Will can do that, then how much more can God do that for me as well? And so no matter what, the Lord is always there. And just like I know the love of my son is always there.
That's so good.
Yeah.
It's so good for me to hear this story and for our church family to hear this. I love that we're a church that is vulnerable and honest with our own stories. And especially with you being on worship team, I know that I will worship more knowing that when I see you worshiping, what God has done in your life, like why you're up there being courageous and leading us in worship. So thank you for filling us in with this. So, and then Anton, I just want to end with just reading a little blessing over you, a little benediction. So this is based off of Psalms 103. Okay. And it says this: as you go from here, remember this: God's love is from everlasting to everlasting, from generation to generation. Just as a father has compassion on his children, so God has compassion on those who fear him, who listen to his voice, and who do his will. And go out in the knowledge that the everlasting love of God goes with you. So happy Father's Day, my friend. So I'm curious, what stood out for you today as you were listening to these men talk about their experiences? What was it that taught you something or showcased the love of God new in a fresh way to you? I'm going to tell you what stood out to me. With Bob, I was reminded of God's faithfulness. And with Anton, I was reminded that God is inviting us to an open, honest relationship with him. And with Carlos, I was just reminded of how God delights in us. And then with Bill, I was reminded of how God is always pursuing us to redeem our story with him and our story with others. Well, no matter what fatherhood looks like to you, I hope that today you reconnected with the Father's heart. And I want to just wish everybody out there a happy Father's Day. See you next time.